Hey there, and welcome back to It's a Gray Matter. Since today is our last neuroimaging session with the random PowerPoints, there's not really a random to it anymore. So let's start with our neuroimaging technique. Our technique, we have an oldie but a goodie, electroencephalogram, otherwise known as the EEG. For our hook, we have cats. So I guess you could say I'm feline good about this one. And for our PowerPoint theme, we have save on. So with that, I'm gonna get to work and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Welcome to my presentation on the electroencephalogram, otherwise known as EEG for short. We're gonna get started with the mechanisms. So basically how an EEG starts is it uses around 24 to 32 electrodes that are attached to the scalp, and so they're normally attached with tape. And so what electrodes do is they take very quick electrical recordings of either a region of neurons or a neuron itself. In EEG's case, it is very regional, so it's going to be a region of neurons. EEG electrodes are normally in pairs to measure each region thoroughly, and signals in the brain mostly depend on the synchrony of neurons in that region, so whether or not they're all firing at the same time. And synchrony of these neurons normally comes in forms known as waves. Analysis of EEG is very complex and involves several analyses such as spectral analyses, network analyses, and statistical analyses. Typical EEG rhythms include the delta wave, which is 0 to 4 hertz and signals deep sleep most of the time. Next up, we have theta waves, which signal light sleep or light waking when someone's not quite asleep or not quite awake yet. Then we have alpha waves, which are 8 to 13 hertz, and which is when somebody is quietly awake, just kind of relaxed. And then we have beta waves, which is the general waking state at around 15 to 30 hertz. And finally, we have gamma waves, in which somebody is very attentive and very focused, very concentrated, which is going to be around 30 to 90 hertz. So next up, we have the current uses and goals of EEG. So EEG has plenty of current uses. As of right now, it's used to test different states of sedation, which may differ either due to medications or states of sleep. It can be used to check attention and cognitive speed in injuries or cognitive deficits, such as traumatic brain injury. It can also check alertness in stress disorders, such as post-traumatic stress disorder, which is known for hypervigilance. And it's used to find biomarkers for several diseases. And for goals, we have several of those as well. We want to do an individual application of biomarkers, pair psychometrics with EEG biomarkers, and normative studies for biomarkers would be great as well, so that for most biomarkers, we have a normative sample instead of a disease-specific sample. And implementing biomarker thresholds for application would be good as well. So, for example, putting criteria in place so that we know that these biomarkers will be useful in diagnosis, treatment, etc. So, what are the costs and benefits of EEG? They are big benefits. First of all, it is non-invasive and painless due to scalp attachment. It is a functional measure for general cognition. It is one of the few measures of neuron synchrony, and it is useful in sleep and sedation studies. Now for the cons. It has the potential for noise due to scalp attachment. There's not really any structural measurement other than assigning certain electrodes to certain regions. And there's a lack of normative data for biomarker use. So that wraps up my presentation. Here are the references. They will also be in the description below, and thank you for listening. So that wraps up today's presentation and the neuroimaging series as a whole. Be sure and let me know what you thought, if you have any questions in the comments, and again, check in the description below for references if you want to do any further research or have any further questions that I didn't really get to. And I'll be back with a new series soon.